Up, you plain party people. I got a question for you. Do you ever sometimes sit down at a session and feel like you're being tricked, like the joke's on you? Well, sometimes that's the way the D side and R side is here at San Juan. Sometimes that's the way training is in general. So today's presentation is called Kick Flips and Trick Strips. Funny looking flight plan details, right? We're going over some meticulous, idiocentric little peculiarities that arise when working here at San Juan. This is geared towards the D side and the R side, whether you're a trainee making your way through your first D side or maybe you have one under your belt, or if you're an R side and you can use a little refresher on scanning, right? We know we scan the radar. We got to scan the strips, right? D side, we scan the strips, we scan the clock, we scan the radar. We're scanning a lot of things, right? And it's a very physical, intensive thing, right? You scan the printer, right? The strips come out of the printer. You scan what the A side's doing. You look at your strip bay, you look at the clock, you look at the radar, and the radar is doing the same thing. Everybody's watching each other, right? So let's dive into it. Without further ado, let's get to this. I'm really excited. It's going to be fun, enjoyable, and hopefully informative. All right, we'll see you there. Okay, so let's get down to funny business, right? I call this funny business because this stuff will annoy the heck out of you if you let it go, right? Especially during a training session when somebody's watching you, because sometimes these occurrences, these little detail items, will not jump out to the trainee or the developmental right away, right? It will not be so glaringly obvious, but guess who it is obvious to? The person watching you, right? Your trainer, maybe a supervisor on a skills check or check ride, right? So these are the kind of things that we want to polish up, and we don't want to have these things set you back in the training environment or when you're working by yourself, right? So that's what we're trying to avoid. We want to get you well prepared, right? So today we're going to be examining some flight plan details, right? Easy to miss erroneous routes, right? SOP and LOA routing are big, right? And sometimes we do a quick scan, things look good on the surface, but there might be one route string or one element that's off, and the whole thing just looks god-awful and terrible, right? Paying attention to the changes in a flight plan, how they impact and dictate what you will have to do, okay? Basically just following through, being proactive, but the big emphasis there is making sure you're following through or making sure that you tell somebody to change something, right? You follow that process, right? And amendments to route of flight and other considerations, we'll get into that in a second here, some fun procedures that we may not do all the time. So without further ado, let's get to a sector here. Now, no radar stuff today, right? We're gonna be looking at strip bays because that's where all the details are stored. The radar data processing, it presents to you a data tag, maybe a scratch pad entry, right? But there's not too much to trip you up there. Where you get tripped up is when you try to reconcile what's going on the radar scope and making sure that those targets are doing what the strip says they are, right? That reconciliation, that cross-examination, constantly checking the radar scope, checking the strip bay, making sure everything is all up to snuff, right? Everything is all at standard, right? That's where we want to get you, right? We want to get you to that constant scan and making sure that everything is meshing as it should be. So ready, set, jets, go. Let's go to a sector, okay? I'll see you there. So today's first example of the detail-oriented stuff and stuff that you may not see so often, right, is Mach number technique, leaving San Juan Center's airspace. In detail, we are entering Piarco Center's airspace with 2 aircraft, and we will coordinate Mach number technique outbound of our airspace. Now, a little background information is you may not use this all the time. Very seldom do we ever have back-to-back aircraft ensuring the Mach number technique at the same altitude. It just doesn't happen all too often, but when it does, we want to make sure that we arm you with all the proper procedure and tools for you to do it correctly, especially because if it does arise when you're being watched, whether training or skills check or check ride, we want to make sure you get through this. Now, you'll see this in the academic environment a lot because it tests a wide variety of skills that you should try to attain, right? Details, coordination, strip marking. It covers a lot of things that emphasize discipline and emphasize those principles we just discussed. So it is important. So here we go. So we're sitting here at the sector, oh so leisurely, probably having our R side in the ear, right? We're listening to the controller next to us, monitoring the frequency. Center, test 228, request flight level 370, okay? And we have that awkward pause before anybody says anything, right? So this example is great for both the R side and D side. Of course, we're going to go over what each party will have to do. Okay, so let's ask ourselves the following questions, right? Let's take that inventory that we so often do. Can you do it? The answer is probably yes, right? Definitely on the radar. They have radar separation, right? That's fine. How do you ensure this? Okay, that's a good question. How to coordinate this? Even better question. So this is a team effort. So let's get down to each team member's role and responsibility, and we'll take it from there. I'll see you at the next slide. Okay, so we might be asking ourselves, how can we satisfy the questions that was proposed in the last slide, right? How can we do this? Well, there's a document, right? We look no further than the document of choice, which is the San Juan Piarco Center Letter of Agreement, longitudinal separation section, and we find the following paragraph. Applicable separation must be a 10-minute longitudinal separation minimum and or 80 nautical miles RNAV separation with the utilization of the Mach number technique at flight level 250 and above between turbojet aircraft at the same flight level on the same route crossing the common boundary. Good. So everything that we just described is satisfied by the situation we have brewing right now. Two aircraft, turbojet aircraft, right? Heavy Boeing 777, heavy Airbus A350. Have 10 minutes in trail, right? We see that there. We have 10. It's a minimum of 10. Perfect. Both aircraft are above flight level 250, and they're both on the same route of flight going over Anata. Perfect. Check that off, right? We satisfied those requirements. So we need the R side to solicit the Mach numbers from these aircraft, right? That's how the Mach number technique works. We get the Mach number, make sure that the aircraft in front is maintaining a Mach that is greater or the same as the aircraft behind, and that's ensured with the 10-minute buffer or the 80 track miles in this situation. Good, so we see this a team effort, right? We need the R side to solicit that information for us. In the meantime, while they do that, when they get around to it, right, I don't know where it falls on their priority list of what else they have going on, but in the meantime, we can at least, as the D side, prepare the strips for coordination. So let's do that. Offset the strips. So we pre-plan for test 228, the second aircraft, right, the succeeding aircraft cross Anata at or after 1208, perfect. And the second aircraft, but the first aircraft in the situation, right, closest to Anata, cross Anata at or before 1158, right? So at or before 1158, good, ensures that they are that 10-minute buffer is satisfied starting at 1158, and the aircraft has to cross Anata at or after 1208, 10 minutes. So there it is. So now the R side has time. Test 1, 2, 3, say Mach number. Test 1, 2, 3, Mach 0.84. Good. You see, this is a good technique when using the Mach number technique. Get the speed of the first aircraft, right? The aircraft get their speed, and if it's a reasonable speed, right, nothing like too low, right? But we know these two aircraft are in the same operating threshold category. So we know that if we get the Mach number from the first, we know that the aircraft behind has to be the same or cannot exceed that Mach number. Well, there's always a situation where we can ask the first aircraft, right, test 1, 2, 3, if they can go faster. But in this situation, it just plays out like this. Test 1, 2, 3, say Mach number. Test 1, 2, 3, Mach 0.84. Test 1, 2, 3, roger. Test 2, 2, 8, do not exceed Mach 0.84. See how that works? And you see how we wrote it down both times. No faster than Mach 0.84, test 2, 2, 8. Test 228, descend and maintain flight level 370. Good. We started the process, right? Now both aircraft will be at 37. As you notice, there's been no restrictions given yet. We're going to save that for another slide, right? But we have the facts, right? We did the fact-finding mission, and we ensured our first restriction written in black. We have speeds written in black, ready for coordination, right? The strip is even further ready for coordination because we have the restrictions pre-planned, and we have the speeds ensured, okay? So stick with me. Next slide, I'll see you there. Okay, so well done. So far, the strips are up to date. Now, we as the D side, let's finish the job and ensure it, right? We coordinate while the R side clears. Here we go. Get Piarco on the line. Piarco Center, SAM1 Center estimates, right? Emphasize that plural. ANATA, first, test 1, 2, 3. Time and level, test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Crossing ANATA at or before 1158, flight level 370, Mach 0.84 squawk. 4455, right? 1158, Mach 0.84. Got the restriction there. 4455. Perfect. You see how we were able to combine the estimate being given and the Mach number technique phraseology in the same transmission, in the same block of dialogue on this phone call, right? So this is my technique, right? Do whatever your training team tells you to do, but this is a clean way to be able to express the Mach number technique being used and get the estimate all in one clean, concise statement, okay? So test 1, 2, 3, flight level 370 approved. Good, we circle 37 when we hear approved, and they say next, test 228. And test 228, crossing ANATA at or after 1208. Flight level 370, Mach 0.84 or less, squawk 4655. Test 1, 2, 3, flight level 370 approved, and we circle 37. Awesome. You see how in the second aircraft, the aircraft that is succeeding test 1, 2, 3, that we don't care what their Mach number is, nor should Piarco. All they have to know is they are maintaining Mach 0.84 or less. No need to get explicit with it and details. And you see how the way I kind of put this dialogue in for us to coordinate it does keep it clean and limits ambiguity and keeps it short and sweet, because that is what you want to do when you are sitting in D2, okay? And you see how we talk and wrote. We circled our Mach numbers, we circled the altitudes, we circled the times, we circled the coordination items, right? Cross ANATA, at or before, at or after, and the squawk code. So the strip is perfectly coordinated. So now it's time for the R side to ensure it, okay? Good job. Like I said, hang in there. We're almost through this. Okay, our side, your time to shine. The strip is coordinated. All you have to do is ensure it. Let's send this thing home and take care of this Mach number technique. Test 1, 2, 3, cross ANATA at or before 1158. Time now 1115 and 1/2. Good. You gave the restriction. You circled it in black because it was pre-planned by your D side, and you gave a time check as you should. Anytime you're dealing with time and time-based restrictions, follow it up with a time check. Good. We get the read back. Test 1, 2, 3, Wilco, right? Simple read back. Test 228, cross ANATA at or after 1208. Time now 1115 and 3/4. We circle and we get the read back. Roger, Wilco. Simple, easy as pie. As you see, it is a team effort though. This would be infinitely, or at least exponentially, more complex if you had to do it all by yourself. Pre-plan the strip, call Piarco, solicit the Mach number, coordinate, and ensure and clear the aircraft as such, right? That's a lot of steps, right? 7, I counted them, and it's split up between the team, the radar team. So you see how it's a team effort and always good to go over, and it's labor intensive, but it's a way we provide a service when requested, right? If we're able to get those aircraft performing in the same kind of performance range, right, with these 2 high performance turbojet heavy aircraft, we're able to do it. But if not, sometimes we have to enable it. But sometimes we should always, or more times than not, we should strive to accommodate the request using Mach number technique, okay? So great job with that. Let's move on to the next topic. Back to funny business and quoting the great Lady Gaga. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want you to tell me what's wrong with these flight progress strips. So ready, set, jets, go. Let's do it. Okay, so minus the Lady Gaga title, things weren't very descriptive in the bulleted list. That's why, if you want, you can pause this, take a look at these strips, and see what needs to be fixed. Kind of like a Where's Waldo of D2, okay? So if you need to, pause it. We'll get back together, and we'll go over each strip one by one and kind of reconcile and fix it, okay? Very good. If you need to pause, pause now. Okay, so if you paused, welcome back. Here we go. Starting with test 6531. They need to be over Antex if they're landing Las Americas at usually what we coordinate is right around 240 or any odd altitude as per the Santo Domingo LOA, but it's good not to keep them over Maya. So let's give them Antex Blue 520 Calcedo direct. So that is something that we would like to fix, and we would mark that up accordingly. Test 4531, this is a good one. This one happens a lot. Everything looks good until you read a little further in sector 4, they go Oduka direct parcha. Let's put them over a common boundary fix. So clear to JFK via Lopo, Hansi, Lima 4 physics, parcha is fouled. Very good. Test 589, cleared to San Juan via after St. Croix, route 4 beta San Juan. This is one of those tricky ones where you read it at a quick glance and you see St. Croix, you even see route 4 in there, and then you kind of like, oh, good, this guy is wonderful, and let me just, approve this and not worry about it, set it and forget it. Meanwhile, they're over Tuna, route 7 San Juan after, route 4 all the way to Tuna. And he also fouled inappropriate altitude for direction of flight for their crews. Test 52, well, just coordinate that, right? No big deal. You would call Guadalupe if you want to practice calling Guadalupe for that. Go ahead. If you want to practice calling Piarco for test 525, by all means, do so, right? And one of our all-time favorites here, test 8731, Juice Direct or Juice Blue 520 St. Martin. We know, according to our LOA with St. Martin, that Blue 520 and Lima 577 over Juice is exclusively west and northwest bound for aircraft, right? Nobody enters Juliana's airspace over Juice. Now, it may not seem obvious at this point, but believe me, when you get through a couple of training sessions, whether downstairs in the lab or when you reach the floor and start training on D2, seeing Juice and in that box and seeing St. Martin in the succeeding box will look perverse, weird, strange, and an eyesore, and you'll catch that right away. So if you caught all of these, great job. If you didn't, that's okay. This is something for you to watch because this will occur in the real world, and you will get tested enough downstairs in the lab, and believe me, you will get tested upstairs on the floor. Believe me, aircraft will file kooky routings, and it'll be you to monitor, scan, and fix them. Okay, great job. Let's keep moving on. So if you practice coordinating, great job with that. Now, there's some pending items. Something has changed here, right? Now it'll be up to you to pause and take a look at what has changed and what control actions will need done, okay? So take a look, pause, and come back, okay? So pause it now. Okay, so if you paused it, welcome back. We have 3 strips here. The first one, or the top one closest to the St. Croix Bay header, we already fixed that. We pre-planned SLUGO, and we pre-planned it in the route string as well. But look what happened. Test 525 is now at flight level 230, and test 52 went up to 25. What does that mean? Now, it may not be glaring obvious, right? It'll come to you when you're checked out. It'll be second nature to understand that the facilities who have to be coordinated with for these aircraft have just flip-flopped. Now, one has to be coordinated with Piarco Center, which was originally coordinated with Guadalupe, and now one has to be coordinated with Guadalupe that was originally coordinated with Piarco, okay? So let's go over how that conversation sounds over the air to keep it concise, short and sweet, and thorough, and being on and off the line, because this will be a pain, because these will be flattened, and you'll be so happy you got them done, and then the altitudes change. Now they're offset by the R side, and now you got all this work to do, right? You have 2 facilities to call and to tell them about not only the estimate, but tell them to disregard an estimate. So you have a lot of things to say. So let's think of a way where we can formulate a dialogue that keeps it short, sweet, and to the point that would make it ideal, okay? So let's take a look here. So we call Guadalupe first, right? They're always quick to pick up. San Juan Center, disregard estimate, test 525. Easy enough. Short, sweet, no need to get into details why they need to disregard. They don't need to know. Disregard. Test 525, roger, disregard. Estimate Hillary, right? Right on it. Estimate Hillary, test 52, previously with Piarco. Good. Just in case if the aircraft changed altitudes close to the boundary, and they may be wondering, why are you coordinating this so late outside of our LOA time, our agreed upon time? Well, it's good to let them know that it's previously with Piarco and an altitude change has occurred, and now it's in their airspace, no longer Piarco's airspace. And let's say they have the flight plan, time and level for test 52, area 1240, flight level 230, right? Give them the squawk if you want. Flight level 230 approved, test 525, and we circle it. Easy enough. Perfect. So we told them to disregard the estimate for test 52, and test 525 is now coordinated with Guadalupe, Now, onwards and upwards to Piarco to get them in the know of our plan. Okay, great job. Let's keep going. Okay, so you call Piarco Center, get them up there. They answer Piarco Center, San Juan Center, disregard. Test 5 to fly, now fly level 230 with Guadalupe. So there's some phraseology there. If you do want to give an explanation, now don't think you're obliged to, but if you want to give them some background information why they're disregarding, they went down outside of the airspace that they own. So good. Roger, right? That's probably as interesting as replies you'll get. New estimate, test 5-2, Hillary. Time and level. Hillary at 1238, flight level 250, squawk 4235. Flight level 250 approved. We circle it, perfect. We just negotiated our way through this rather tedious, detail-oriented situation. Okay, great job. Things to pay attention for. Know the stratum of the airspace of the facilities that you do business with, right? It's good to know that Guadalupe Approach, La Rosette, owns flight level 245 and below. Piarco owns flight level 250 and above. So know that when altitudes change around that 23 to 25 range, right? Because think of it this way. You're going to be dealing with aircraft going from 23 to higher and 25 possibly lower, right? Going southeastbound, right? We don't care what comes our way, but what we coordinate them. So watch out for your aircraft at flight level 230 and 250. When they start flopping around, they are no longer going to be talking to the facility that you originally pre-planned for and possibly even coordinated with. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Good example here, but good job with that. Okay, let's keep up the good vibes. Okay, so take a quick gander, take a quick look at the Borinquen Bay, only 3 flight plans here. And if you need to pause and come up with what we need to do to make these flight plans jive within the system. Okay, so pause it now. Okay, so if you paused it, let's take it strip by strip here. Test 6731 is Airbus A321, and they found via the Boca Gate. Now, anything can be done with coordination, but preferential routing puts them over the Joshi Gate, right? Preferably Maya Green 633 Mayaguez, Route 12 Joshi San Juan, okay? Perfect. Test 4431 over Tuna, right? That's not the best, most optimal, nor SOP route to get into Beef Island arriving from the west. So they need to be put over Tuna direct beef, okay, as per the SOP. And test 6531 is a carryover. If you didn't catch it when we were in the St. Croix Bay, you can redeem yourself and catch it in the Borinquen Bay by understanding that they need Antex Blue 520 Calcedo direct because they are landing Las Americas, westbound altitude. At Maya is not optimal. They should be over Antex at a westbound altitude around 24, 22, whatever Santo Domingo wants, okay? Perfect. Good job with that. Let's keep it up. Okay, so a wild card from Sector 4, 1 strip. Pause it now if you want to see for yourself, try to figure out what's wrong with this trick, okay? Okay, so if you paused it, we see we have test 7831, file Lima 455 LENT, Mike 423 pling direct the airport, okay? They almost fouled perfectly. They are just missing a couple things in the route string, and what they're missing is either after pling Route 7 to San Juan or pling direct Sailor San Juan. Any which way you look at it, they have to be over the Sailor Gate, right? Going direct San Juan is not good for us handing aircraft over to approach, so let's put them on a fix a coordination fix, right? Let's call it what it is, right? Or standard routing, okay? So good job with that. If you caught it, if not, like I said, this will be things to watch for. Aircraft that don't fly into San Juan Center very often, charter flights, GAs, sometimes they don't foul totally correct all the way to the airport, right? So it's your job to fill in the rest and make it congruent, okay? Good job. All right, so great job with that, guys. Really, really good job, right? It's like putting on a magnifying glass and doing some detective work and investigating, knowing that we have to read each and every detail to make sure that everything jives, right? Everything is up to the standard at which we work, right, as a professional. So great job with all that. I promise you this is a preview. It's not an exhaustive list or an exhaustive example of everything that you will see that you will have to fix, either as a radar controller or a D-side controller. But guess what? It gives you a little preview, and these examples are glaringly obvious. They will become so clear to you whenever you see them occur that you'll be so quick to fix them, okay? But there will be some things that'll slip through the cracks, especially when you get busy. But this presentation was aimed to slow yourself down and read each and every strip and reconcile the issue, okay? So with that being said, know your LOA and SOP preferential routing, right? And know how to apply procedures. Know your LOAs. Know the privileges and rights afforded to you by those LOAs on what you can coordinate and what you cannot get away with, right? So that's the parting lesson from today's presentation. So I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you at the farewell slide for the goodbye. Okay, so this is a perfect graphical depiction of what you don't want to happen to you. You being that guy, the ice being the small icy slippery details, and the ouchies comes whenever you don't know flight plans, LOA, SOP procedures, 7110, etc., right? Don't get tripped up on the slippery details, guys, right? You guys have worked very hard, whether through the academic portion of your training and now you're in the OJT environment. You've worked very hard on studying the LOAs, SOP routing, LOA routing, getting all the airways and fixes inside of our great airspace, all the procedures, SIDS, stars, all that fun stuff. You owe it to yourself to slow yourself down and apply everything you learned to remedy when things don't always go right, right? When people don't file correctly, whenever there's an aircraft that needs to have a procedure applied to it, like we saw with the Mach number technique, you owe it to yourself to slow yourself down and to apply the knowledge that you have worked so hard to attain and retain, okay? So I'm really happy. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe we'll do another one with as some more details come online, right, that we can say, hey, fix this, right? So maybe we'll do another one of these, but I hope you guys had a good time. I know I did. And remember, keep your attitude just like your separation positive. My name is Steve, and I will see you at the next presentation. All right, bye now.